All right. Welcome in. Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Irish Football Pod. Uh, Today, going to be a quicker episode. We're going to talk schedule. We just finalized 2025. We got every game that we know we're going to play, guaranteed opportunities. They're scheduled. Offensive line coach interviewed with the Chicago Bears. We'll talk about that a little bit. So, of course, we are at the beginnings of the offseason, and we are just getting ramped up here. Okay? So, welcome in. Really enjoying doing this show. If you guys are liking it, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're going to bring you this stuff all season, all off season long, leading into 2025. Could not be better. Connor is dealing with the flu, a little bit under the weather still. He's not quite feeling up to coming on. Totally cool. I'll handle it this today, and then he will likely try to come back tomorrow for an episode together tomorrow. So, but big first news first. The 2025 schedule is slated. Every game here, every guaranteed opportunity is set. Okay? And it's an interesting one. So, if you looked last week, we had 11 games scheduled. We didn't have our 12th game yet. Kind of similar to last year. We scheduled Army, I don't know, somewhere like, late spring, early summer. We got Army scheduled. Same thing with this year. We had 11 games. It is going to end up being Stanford. The ACC schedules came out, time frames for some of the games. Stanford is going to be that ending game, season finale, on the road, as it usually is. I believe in Palo Alto, but yeah, it's going to be in Palo Alto, Stanford Stadium. So, as usual, Notre Dame is ending the season going out to California. So we will be playing Stanford in that 12th game to finish out the 2025 campaign. All right. What's interesting about the schedule for 2025 is, again, we are opening up with a banger. You'd have to imagine that all eyes are going to be on the Irish. At Miami, Sunday, August 31st, Labor Day weekend, prime time. All eyes on the Irish. That's what it is. We're getting used to this. We opened at Ohio State a couple years ago. We opened at Texas A&M last year. We're opening at Miami this coming up year. Now, what's interesting, week 2, we have a bye. And you know what comes after that bye? A&M. Texas A&M is coming back. You know they're going to have revenge in their hearts for what we did to them in College Station last year. Miami, bye week, A&M. That's your first 3 weeks of the season. You want to talk about hitting the ground running? That's it. We just came off of this gauntlet of a 16-game schedule. Home playoff game, victory. Sugar Bowl, victory. Orange Bowl, victory. National title game, hard-fought loss. You jump to 2025, and we're right back in the thick of it. You got Miami, who was 10-2 last year, narrowly missed the playoffs, and then an A&M team who, when they switch their quarterback, they look like a totally different team. That quarterback is athletic. He's fast. He's going to be coming in with confidence. You've got 2 extremely tough games to open up the 2025 campaign. Okay? One of your bye weeks is in week 2. Your next bye week comes after your 6th game, 7th game. So you got Miami, bye week, A&M at home, Purdue at home. Then we're on the road against Arkansas, back home against Boise State. Okay? Highly respected team always. Coming off a playoff appearance. Boise's going to bring it. We got to be ready to play ball. NC State at home, USC at home. So after we go to Arkansas for the 4th game, we have 3 straight home games. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of our first 6 games for 7 games are at home. You can't beat that. Okay? After we play USC, then we have a bye week. But then we get into the November gauntlet. The teams aren't as, maybe high profile as the first 7 teams are. You got at Boston College, Navy at home, at Pitt, Syracuse at home, and then we're back to California at Stanford. The bye weeks, I don't know. I don't know if I like it yet. I got to examine this a little bit more. You got a bye week in week 2. If things go sour in Miami against the Hurricanes, you got 13 or 14 days to sit on it, and then guess what? An SEC team is coming into South Bend looking for revenge. You beat them last year, they're coming for blood. You know that they are. But if you get the Miami game, come out of there with a victory, well, you're sitting there with a bye week prepping for A&M. So, at bare minimum, we could be looking at through the first 2 games again. Hopefully, worst case scenario, 1-1. We split that. And then you've got somewhat of a manageable schedule the rest of the way to make your playoff push again. But could you imagine in the first 2 games again, we're 1-1? I will say this. There is no MAC team on the schedule. So we can't Marshall ourselves. We can't NIU ourselves. There's no MAC team. Okay? You've got ACC, SEC, Big Ten, another SEC game, Boise State, highly respected. ACC schedule as well. It's going to be an interesting season, right? This schedule, it's not the toughest, but it's a lot more difficult than last year, I'd say, especially those first 2 games. And that little tricky 4th game at Arkansas, that's another SEC team that, they play big boy football. They play an SEC schedule year in and year out. I'm not going to be overly confident in that game. We're going to have to show up and play. Keep in mind, we have no clue who this QB is going to be for us next year. So we've got a lot of things going on. All right. Schedule setting up for us to have a killer season. Does 10-2 get Notre Dame in the playoff? I don't know. We got a long way and a long offseason to discuss that. But, man, the first 2 games of the year at Miami and at home against A&M with a bye week sandwiched in the middle. Going to be very interesting. So let me know what you guys think. Let's chat about it. Let's chat through this thing and see what happens. In other news, offensive line coach interviewed with the Bears. So we got a DC opening. We got a general manager opening. And now potentially our O-line coach could be on the move. He's been with us since 2023. What happened to Jagasol before the season even started? He's out with a torn pec. Anthony Knapp comes in. We're thinking, man, this O-line can't catch a break. But guess what? Throughout the whole season, we didn't talk about the O-line as much as we did in the first couple of weeks of the season, the whole rest of the way. So that just goes to show you, those boys came together. That coach is a really good coach. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. We could be replacing a DC, a GM. Those are guaranteed things right now. Not to mention an O-line coach. Then if we don't make Mickens the DC or he doesn't get the co-defensive coordinator, what if he leaves? Then we got a safety and cornerbacks, secondary coach position to fill. We don't have a lot of time. Spring ball is coming. We've said this in prior episodes. We got to hit the ground running. Other teams are about a month ahead of us. For all those schools and teams that their season ended mid-December, early December after their bowl games, like Miami, like A&M, man, they got a leg up on us now. We've got a little instability in the coaching sector of our program right now, just in terms of we got spots to fill. And we got people that may leave still at this point. So we'll see what happens there. We should start seeing some news soon. DC, GM, O-line coach. Things are going to start happening here. Off-season's off to a hot start. Plenty to talk about, as always. But think about this. At Miami week 1, bye week A&M. at home. You couldn't ask for a better challenge to start the season. Top 3, top 4 ACC team, and then Texas A&M. Who knows? When they brought in that quarterback last year and he replaced Wegman, he brought a different dynamic to that team. He really did. He's fast. He's accurate with the ball. So it's going to be interesting to see. 2 very tough games to open the year. Rest of the schedule sets up pretty nicely. And as usual, we are headed to Stanford in California to end the 2025 campaign. So a lot to talk about. O-line stuff, schedule stuff, coaching position stuff. There's a lot going on. But thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Connor will be back tomorrow. He should be for our show. He's been dealing with the flu. It's been going around. Weather in Florida has been cold. Now it's hot. It's going to be 80 this weekend. So the weather changes are kind of getting to us a little bit. So as always, appreciate you tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. We will be bringing you this content all off season long, all the way through the winter, spring, summer. Can't wait to start ramping up on the next couple months with you guys. So, leave your comments. If you guys want to chat, follow us on X, DomerPod, and then Connor's is C_Nep. You can find that in the other shows. So, with that, let's talk about the schedule. What's everybody think? We'll talk to you guys later. Go Irish.